Hey, this is Phil from the Next Chapter team. Welcome to another ETF review. Today's ETF review is going to focus on 4 different Invesco fund ETFs. Before we jump into the review, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. Help the channel grow. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy another ETF review from the Next Chapter team. Jumping into the review, we're going to take a look at what an exchange traded fund and ETF is and how to buy them. Now, which ETFs are we going to look at? We're going to look at the Invesco Dividend Achievers, High Yield Equity Dividend Achievers, and then the Mid-Cap GRPM ETF, and then the Invesco Dorsey Wright Consumer Cyclical Momentum ETF. That is a mouthful. Now, what is an ETF? Well, an ETF is basically a basket or a big group of stocks, and they trade all day. And because they trade all day, their prices on ETFs change all day, just like a stocks. Now, ETFs are a little different from mutual funds, and they tend to have lower expense ratios and fewer brokerage commissions. Well, now, how do you buy an ETF? First off, you got to determine what type of account you're going to buy it in, either an IRA or a brokerage account, because traditionally, you're not going to see ETFs within your 401k. Sorry. Unless you're self-employed, in which case you could buy ETFs all day in your self-employed 401k. Then from there, you determine which investment broker you're going to work with. Go with some of the big names. There's so many to choose from, but make sure they meet your needs. So do some research. Then from there, decide on how frequently you're going to invest in them. Weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Overall, you want to make sure that you make this an automated transfer into your account and then automated purchase of those ETFs. Now, some investment brokers then you can work with companies like Fidelity, Webull, M1 Finance, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, TIAA, CREF, and Vanguard. All great players, and they are well regulated, so you won't have many issues in the long term. For each ETF, we're going to take a look at the ETF fund category, fund benchmark, summary, expense recap, top holdings, and then that performance. That performance information is going to help us take a look at what it would look like if you invested consistently in all four funds over a 5 and 10 years period of time. The first Invesco is the Dividend Achievers ETF. This one's a large cap value. It seeks to compare against the NASDAQ US Broad Dividend Achievers Index. This one has an expense ratio of 0.53. So for every $10,000 you have invested, it'll be about $53 annually in expenses. This ETF that goes by PFM has 422 different holdings. Top companies include Microsoft, Apple, Broadcom, Walmart, JP Morgan Chase, United Healthcare, ExxonMobil, Oracle, Visa, and MasterCard, both Class A's on those. Now let's put the sector breakdown that we have going on here. We got 21% in information technology, 19.15 in financials, 14.23 in healthcare, 12.65 in consumer staples, and 11.78 in industrials. From there, everything's under 10%, but you've got areas like consumer discretionary, utilities, energy, materials, real estate, and finally, communication services. Now let's jump into the good stuff. How did this perform? All right, we've got a 1 year of 29.65, 3 year of 11.09, 5 year of 11.70, and a 10 year of 10.66. And if you've had this fund since inception, it's had 8.47. But again, not bad. Next up is our Invesco High Yield Equity Dividend Achievers. This is our mid-cap. This one is against the NASDAQ US Dividend Achievers 50 index. Now this one's interesting. It's 50 selected principles or stocks that are focused on dividends, yield, and consistent growth. But then it is rebalanced usually in March, June, and September and December. So they're rebalancing this to make sure they're attempting to rebalance this as frequently as every quarter just to make sure that they have nice returns consistently. We're going to see what that performance looks like in the big long term. Now, the expense ratio for this one is 0.52, and that means for every 10K, about $52 annually. All right, this second one, ticker symbol PEY, does have 50, just like it says, 50 different stocks. What are some of these stocks? The top holdings, Walgreens, Altera, Verizon Communications, Franklin Resources, UGI, Contingent Communications, First Interstate Bank System A, Universal, Pfizer, and United Parcel, UPS B. And then sectors. Let's take a look at this. There's sectors. Highest one is utilities. I have not seen that very frequently. Utilities at 24.59. Financials at 23.69. Consumer discretionary is at 15.93. Then from there, everything's under 10%. But let's rattle off. What's that include? Communication services, industrials, healthcare, materials, information technology, energy, and then finally consumer discretionary. All right, now let's check out that performance. 1 year, 20.14. 3 year, 8.22. 5 year, 8.45. 10 year, 10.22. Not bad. Let's move into the next one. Next one goes by GRPM. This one is your Invesco S&P Mid Cap 400 GRP. This is a small cap blend. This seeks to track against the S&P Mid Cap 400 GRP Index. Expense ratio of 0.35. For every $10,000, it would be $35 annually for this ETF. Now, what are some of its holdings? First off, there are 60 different positions, which include companies like Lantheus, Kinsen Capital, AutoNation, Hancock Whitney, Boyd Gaming, Crocs, Texas Roadhouse, and Harley Davidson. All right, let's take a look at that sector breakdown. What do we have? 27.42 consumer discretionaries, industrials at 16.10, energy at 15.54, financials at 12.35, and information technology at 10%. Under that is everything else under that is under 10%, which includes healthcare, materials, consumer staples, and utilities. Now let's take a look at those returns. All right, 1 year 35.10, 3 year 10.37, 5 year 14.42, and 10 year 10.40. Let's move on to the next fund. Our next fund goes by PEZ. This one is the Invesco Dorsey Wright Consumer Discretionary Cyclical Momentum ETF. So this one ETF category is consumer cyclicals, seeking to track against the Dorsey Wright Consumer Cyclical Technical Leaders Index. Expense ratio of 0.50, so which means for every 10K, about $50 annually. And what do you have here? You get 34 holdings, and then you get companies in their top holdings like Modern Manufacturing, Toll Brothers, Sweet Green Class A, Royal Caribbean. They had a great year. Amazon, Kava, Murphy USA, I think that's an oil company, and Dick's Sporting Goods, and then NVR. And then from there, all right, so let's look at this. So our overall, our sector holdings matching up to what it said is 90% in consumer discretionary, just like what they said. This is a consumer cyclical. That's what you expect to see. Industrials at 4.37, communication services at 3.08, and finally healthcare, rounding it out. Since there's only 4, I'm reading them all out. Healthcare is at 2.53. Now let's jump into that performance. Holy cow, look at that 1 year. That 1 year is at 60.80. Wow. Wish we could see that every year, right? 3 year is 6.51, 5 year at 15%, and 10 year at 10.32. Now, we're going to take a look at what it would look like if we invested consistently in all 4 ETFs over a 5 and 10 year period of time. Okay, now it's time to have some fun. Let's take it to the spreadsheet. Today's example, we're going to have someone investing $8,000 consistently. And again, we've got 4 funds. Our first one, our large cap, it has a 1 year return of 29.65, 5 year of 11.70, 10 year of 10.66. Our second one, this is our mid cap play, has a 1 year of 20.14, a 5 year of 8.45, a 10 year of 10.22. And then next one is our small cap blended, mid cap, small cap blend for 1 year of 35.10, 5 year 14.42, 10 year 10.40. Last up, our consumer cyclical. There's our specialty play for this ETF review. That has a 1 year of 60.80, 5 year of 15%, and a 10 year of 10.32. Let's see what it looks like if you invest consistently in all 4 funds for a 5 and 10 year span of time. All right, so jumping into it, 1 year, not so it's awesome, but let's see what the 5 year looks like. And 5 years. All right, 5 years. 5 years of $8,000 per year, $40,000 in principal, and then the rest is growth. So we have about 69% of the balance is invested cash, and 31% of the balance, $17,000, is growth. Now let's see what happens when we jump this up to 10 years. Let's see if we can make some major money. Whoa, 143. Not bad. Let's see what it breaks down to. 80K invested cash, 8 times 10, 80K, and then the rest is growth. So 44% of this balance is $63,494 in growth. Again, 10 years of consistent investing can really build up some major dollars. And if you do 10 and 20 years, even more. Hope you enjoyed the ETF review. So many more to come. Not bad results, Invesco. I like it. More reviews to come.
Hey, thanks for staying to the end. This video is brought to you by the Next Chapter team. If you enjoyed the video, please take a moment to hit that like button, drop a comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. This will help the channel reach out to more individuals just like you. We offer one-on-one coaching where we work with people and small businesses to determine a clear path to achieving their financial goals. This includes things like budgeting to reduce debts, planning for big purchases, and even learning how to build wealth with the tools that you have readily available to you. So please see our link below to schedule a free 30-minute call with our team to talk through coaching and understanding your current financial situation. Also, check out some of our affiliate links below for high yield savings account. This is a great place to put your money when you're saving up for those big purchases and your emergency fund. Check out some of our videos right here. And please enjoy and see you in the next video.